Hello. Jason was a Gentile in the house, and I went to church today. I just got back from church, and I wanted to tell you what happened. So it's been, I'm not ashamed to say this, but it's just the truth. The last time I went to church was last Christmas for a Christmas Eve service. And, there's something that happened in my life like 2 days ago. And I said to my wife, we need to go to church and we're going on Sunday. So if we got a problem with the music because it's pop music and it's just designed to pump you up and send you into an emotional space, at least it's music about Jesus. If you got problems with the 501c3 organization and the different things about that, and then at least they're talking about Jesus there, though. So there's that. If you got a problem with tithing and tithing isn't biblical, so that's why you don't go. Well, don't put any money up. If you got a problem with membership and you don't think membership is biblical and you don't like membership because there's nowhere in the Bible, okay, well then don't be a member. And you show up on, this is what I said, you show up on Sunday and there's a bunch of people there presumably who are Christians, and there are people that are walking in that don't know who Jesus is, and they might cross your path. And are they singing about Jesus? Yes. And where else? You know what I'm saying? Are there other people? Yeah. And so let's go. We're going. And so we went to church. My wife and I went to church today. And so what happened? What happened was, my wife and I are standing next to each other, and we're singing the songs together, and we got our little Starbucks coffees, and she's got her arm around me, or we're holding hands, and we're kind of like swaying back and forth together a little bit as we sing. And I just felt like this is where I need to be right now. That's what I was thinking. And I was thinking, I'm so glad that I get to be here with my wife. And there's people here that are here by themselves and they don't have anyone to go to church with, but they want to go to church. Also, Charlie Kirk's wife is going to church alone. Without him. That's what I mean. She's going to church without him. And there was a time when she went to church with him. And the long-term implications of that in her life. It just made me feel so grateful that I get to be here with my wife on this day. And so I want to be here. I felt that a message of hope was being shared in the music. And affirmations about what is it to be a Christian. And I'm reading the lyrics and the tears are just running down my eyes, and I'm just like, I'm not boo-hooing or anything, and I'm trying to hide it, but I just let the tears run down my eyes instead of wipe my eyes, because I don't want to be wiping my eyes so people around me know I'm wiping my eyes. I just let them run, and I let them dry as they run. And so that's just what I do. And so, yeah, man. And then the sermon that the teaching sermon was about death. And I'll just tell you a little bit. And so basically, he went into to 2 Peter 2 in the Bible, and he started talking about how Peter considered his body to be, the Greek word would be tent. His body was a tent, and his soul is inside his body. And then when his soul leaves his body, and so he's basically, the body is just kind of like this earthly temporary structure, like a tent. A tent is like a temporary structure that you're just kind of in. And so, so the sermon was all about death and not fearing death. And then the pastor was like, where do you hear that on CNN? Do you hear CNN talk like that? Do you hear Fox News talk like that? Do you ever hear Oprah talk like that? This is a countercultural message. And I'm like, I'm down with that. And so, so I went to church. And I'm going to try my very best to get my wife to agree to go with me every Sunday. 11 a.m. Sundays. And then I'll see, maybe I was thinking I might go to a men's group or something and see what's up. So what happened with this coin today? I want to tell you. So I went to pickleball this morning around, say, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Played some pickleball, 7:30. And a person an acquaintance, this woman that I know of we're acquaintances, we're friends, pretty much acquaintances though. And she said, "Hey, Jason," because she knows I have a tennis background. She says, "Hey, Jason, tell him," she's there. She's playing pickleball with her friend, and she's like, "Hey, tell her a little bit about what it's like to be a tennis player who's starting to play pickleball and how the two are different and what she could do." And I was like, "Okay." So, because I have a deep tennis background, I taught tennis lessons and I played on a national level tennis. And so yeah, so I just shared some things about pickleball, and then I said to the two women, I was like, she said, "Play with us," and I was like, "I gotta go. I'm going to church for the first time in like 2 years." And the woman that I was telling about the different pickleball stuff, um, she's like, "Where are you going?" I said, I'm not gonna tell you where, but she was like, "I go there too," and and uh, and she's like, go to this over here. They got the best music. And then I said, "Okay." And then I said, as I was leaving, I said, now I know who I need to give this to. I need to give this to you. This is a Fruit of the Spirit coin. And on the back are the fruits of the Spirit. And I was like, this is called a challenge coin, is what it's called. And so it's a challenge. You carry it, you put it in your pocket, you look at it, and you think, faithfulness, joy, self-control, patience, love, kindness, goodness, peace, gentleness. And these are the things that these are the ways that you behave as you follow Jesus. So you say, "Jesus, I want to follow you." And then as you begin to follow him, these things are called the fruits of the Spirit. They pop up in your life. And so I said, this is a challenge coin. And so, you look at it and you go, "How am I doing with peace today? How am I doing with faithfulness?" Oh, okay. And I think the answer is, I'm not doing very good with peace today. I'm not doing very good with forgiveness. Okay. Then the thing to do is to pray about it, to talk to God about it, and drop it at God's feet. Just give it to God. How do you give it to God? You say like this: "God, I'm struggling. I just want to give this to you. I'm giving this to you, God." And try to put it out your mind. And then each time, in faith, say, "God's going to take care of this. God's going to take care of this." Now, I do believe that we need to take action. We need to be people of action. And I think it's important to take action on things. The ball is in your hands. The big ball is in God's hands, but you have free will and the ability to take action. So take action. Take action and forgive. Take action in gentleness. Take action in faithfulness. Take action in self-control. And why do that? You do that in obedience to Jesus. Say, "I want to be faithful for you, Jesus." And now you're not doing it for your own self, and you're not necessarily doing it, say, even for your spouse. You're doing it for Jesus. And to do something for Jesus, you get to reap the benefits because you're doing it for Jesus. It's different. It rewires it, and it's different. So these pop in your head. These things pop up in your life. And so I gave her the coin, and that was pretty much it. And then I left. And so so I was able to give. I was able to give this Fruit of the Spirit coin to someone today, and I went to church today, and I'm pumped. I'm really pumped up. And so that's pretty much everything. So I'm hoping that this has blessed you, and I just wanted to share an update on what I'm doing. These things that I'm doing, these things are called works. I'm not doing these things because I'm trying to earn my way into heaven. I'm doing these things because I want to. Just because I want to. The Bible says that Christians are the salt and the light of the world. You're like a light on top of a hill. Why would you put a lampshade over the top of the light? Why wouldn't you just shine bright? And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I want to do. I'm tired of chilling. I'm just tired of being like, I'm just tired of not making an impact on some level. I don't know what God's plan is for me. I don't know. But I'm tired of sitting around. I just want to be a little bolder. I want to have a little bit more courage. And for me, what that looks like is basically, I call it like, I told my wife, because there was this lady at the grocery store today that I know of. I've been friendly with her, and I was all dressed up like this, and I turned around and look over, and she's looking at me. She goes, "I knew it was you." And I was like, "Oh, how'd you know?" She goes, "The hat." And I go, "Oh, I guess it's my calling card, isn't it?" She goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "How are you today?" And I'm like, "I'm okay." This is the lady that's working at the self-checkout at the grocery store. Nice lady. She's in her late 60s, early 70s. I've always assumed that this woman is basically kind of like a liberal progressive type. I didn't never knew, but I just guessed it. And check this out. I said to her, I said, I'm all dressed up because I'm going to church for the first time in a couple of years. So there's two people I told that to. And she goes, oh, really? She goes, wait, are you kidding? Are you kind of like making fun? Or what? Are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to church. And she goes, oh, that's so sweet. She goes, you know, if you're looking for a church home, and then one of her coworkers called her. She goes, oh, look, I gotta go do this. And then she left, and I did the self-checkout and left. But when she said church home, I recognized that she was speaking Christianese to me. That's Christianese if you're looking for a church home, a church to call home. So it makes me think that woman is a Christian and she goes to church, and I thought she was a progressive, I don't know, I think I'm wrong, but I don't know yet. Here's what I'm saying, I don't know yet. But where I'm going with this is, how could I even know? If I didn't say I'm going to church, it's something that was actually happening. See, this is not manipulative. I'm just saying what's actually happening. I'm going to church. And she's like, oh, and that opened up the conversation about Christianity. And now I know she's a Christian. So now that I know she's a Christian, you know what she's a candidate for? Bada boom, bada bang. Fruits of the Spirit coin. It's a gift. It's giving. It's kind. It's an act of kindness. Giving someone something is an act of kindness. Look here. Kindness, one of the fruits of the Spirit. Kindness. I'm just being kind. I don't know what the coin's going to do. I have no idea. You know, someone could get one of these coins and they stare at it for hours. And God makes a thought pop in their head or something. You don't know what's going to happen with this. God's going to do something with it. I don't know what. So now I gotta, you know, but where I'm going with this is that, so I told my wife about that as we're driving to church, and she's like, oh, just telling everybody that. She's just, you know, we banter. So she's not being mean, but she's like, just telling everybody that you're going to church, huh? And I was like, yeah, I am telling everyone that I'm going to church, because I have a network of people around me that I never let on that I'm a Christian. I've never said that I am a Christian. No, besides me just being nice and cool, I've never mentioned it. And so, which you may find interesting with when I got a name like Jason was a Gentile on YouTube. But, you know, so what I'm doing is what I told my wife is, it's kind of a little bit of like my Christian coming out party. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm just mentioning that I'm a Christian more, and that's opening doors relationally. It's opening doors relationally. And I'm not in a rush, and I'm not trying to pitch it to anyone. I'm just trying to be myself. And as things roll, but I am willing to speak up a little bit, and I'm also willing to have a little bit more courage and see where God takes it, and see if there's an opportunity for me to be kind. That's it. So I'm hoping that my little journey here so far is helping you figure out how you might be able to take steps forward as well. Take steps forward out in the world, and to be the salt and the light. And have that, just, you know, if that's just kindness, then as you're hearing me, I'm giving you the tools. I'm telling you how I'm doing it so you can learn from the way that I'm doing it, and we'll see where it goes. All right. So I'm hoping that this video blesses you. And if you want to get one of these Fruits of the Spirit coins, they're on Amazon.